Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving straight into ACIM, Lesson 154, and the absolute core of this lesson is a beautifully simple yet completely profound statement. I am among the ministers of God. This one is an absolute masterpiece when it comes to redefining how we see ourselves, so let's just jump right in and unpack it. Okay, let's dive into this. Let's really look at this opening phrase. I am among the ministers of God. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Before your brain instantly jumps to images of somebody standing at a traditional church pulpit wearing a long robe, let's just completely wipe the slate clean. In the context of this text, the word minister means something very, very different. We aren't talking about an ordained religious leader here. Actually, it means being an active, living messenger of peace in your everyday life. It's entirely about the function you serve in the real world, not some fancy title you hold.
And to really wrap our heads around what this kind of minister actually does, we have to grapple with what is basically the central paradox of this entire text. It poses a massive question. How can you only keep a gift by giving it away? I mean, think about our normal, everyday physical world. If I hand you an apple, well, I don't have the apple anymore, right? But this lesson operates on a completely different set of rules. We're talking about laws of the mind and the spirit here. So we're going to go on a bit of a journey today to solve this exact riddle. And trust me, by the end of this explainer, the answer is going to completely change how you view everything you have to offer.
But before we can even try to solve that paradox, the text basically tells us we need to get right out of our own way. And we do that by looking at this tug of war between arrogance and false humility. The lesson explicitly asks us to be neither of these. Why? Well, because whenever we sit around judging our own worth, whether we're inflating our ego with arrogance or just totally shrinking ourselves down with false humility, we are actually just engaging in pure foolishness. The text points out that these are really just clever delay tactics. They're just excuses we use to put off making a decision, right? To delay committing to our true function as messengers of peace.
The text actually makes this incredibly simple for us. It says we cannot judge our own worth, nor do we even need to. Honestly, it's not our job to figure out what role is best for us. Think of it like this. Imagine trying to direct a massive, globally cast stage play when you've only been handed the script for one tiny character. We can only see our own little part. But what we do fits into this much larger plan that we just can't see in its entirety. The source material beautifully states that our part is cast in heaven, not in hell. So sitting around agonizing over whether you're good enough or ready enough, it's literally just a waste of your precious energy.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how the text completely flips our standard understanding of ourselves totally on its head. It tells us this: what we think is weakness can be strength. What we believe to be our strength is often arrogance. Isn't that wild? The things you probably pride yourself on, maybe it's your fierce independence or your super sharp intellect, those might actually be the very things blocking you. Meanwhile, the traits you might view as weaknesses, say your deep sensitivity or your vulnerability, those might literally be the exact tools required for your specific role in this grander plan. So, let's properly redefine our key term for today. According to the text, a minister of God is a messenger whose role is specifically selected by the voice of God to share unity, applying their true strengths perfectly. Notice something important there. The role is selected for you. The text suggests this voice acts kind of like a master casting director who actually knows you way better than you know yourself. It sees your strengths exactly as they truly are. It knows precisely where those strengths can be best applied, exactly for what purpose, to whom, and exactly when.
So the crucial point is this: he does not work without your own consent. Even though this perfect custom-fit role has been appointed for you, you aren't just a puppet on a string. The voice of God only works if you willingly agree to participate. You have to actually say yes to the role. The larger plan is essentially just waiting on your willingness to stop judging yourself, to drop the false humility, and to simply step into the function that was designed specifically for you.
And here is a huge, huge sigh of relief for anyone who might be feeling a bit overwhelmed by all this. A messenger does not elect to make the message. Let that sink in. A true messenger doesn't have to write the script, you don't have to question who is receiving it, and you certainly don't have to judge the ultimate purpose of the message. In fact, if a messenger insists on judging what the message should be or figuring out where it should go, they're actually failing at their one real job. Your only job, the whole shebang, is to just deliver the word. That's it. And this brilliantly illustrates the core difference between how the physical world works and how the spiritual framework operates. Think about an earthly messenger, right? Like a regular mail carrier. They fulfill their role by simply taking a package and giving it away to someone else. The package isn't for them, they just drop it off. But heaven's messengers, they are completely different. The messages they deliver are actually intended for them first. A spiritual messenger has to fully accept this message of peace, forgiveness, and unity for themselves before they can ever possibly hand it off to someone else.
So let's break down exactly how this highly specific, kind of paradoxical process actually works according to the source material. It's a three-step flow. Step 1, you receive the message. Step 2, you accept it as completely true for yourself. You become its first receiver in the truest sense of the word. But here is the real kicker. Step 3, you give it away to fully understand it. The messengers of God show that they actually comprehend what they've been given by giving it away. You literally gain from every single message you pass on.
Which leads the text to ask us a very, very direct question. Would you receive the messages of God? The text is telling us that we were already appointed as messengers, right now, in this exact moment. But the tragic irony of it all is that we often just sit around waiting to give the message because we don't realize we already hold it right in our hands. It's like we're constantly waiting for some grand neon sign, totally unaware that the message of unity is already ours. And because we hold it back, we don't even recognize our own gifts.
Now, this brings us to a somewhat dense, poetic concept in the text that we definitely need to demystify. The text says, "For in the giving is his own acceptance of what he received." And boom, this perfectly resolves our opening paradox. In this spiritual framework, through the joining of the Father and the Son in one voice, which is essentially the text's way of describing ultimate spiritual unity, getting and giving are not two different actions. They are the exact same thing occurring at the exact same split second. You cannot truly accept your own freedom and peace until you actively offer that exact same freedom and peace to the person standing right in front of you.
Let's move to and see how this builds into real physical action in our everyday lives. Because, the text doesn't just leave us floating up in the clouds. It tells us exactly how to embody this. We deliver the message by offering our voice, so unity can quite literally speak through us. We offer our hands to hold these messages and pass them along. We offer our feet to physically bring us to the places and the people who are waiting in misery and just desperate to be delivered. And finally, we offer our will, uniting it completely with the larger plan so we can be true receivers.
And here is the ultimate resolution to that great paradox we started with. The text tells us we will not recognize what we receive until we give it. It flat out asserts that you have already been given everything. You literally have 1,000 miracles waiting for you, and 1,000 more right behind those. God hasn't denied you even the tiniest blessing, but they are entirely invisible to you right now. You won't realize you have these miracles, you won't feel their actual weight in your hands until you actively choose to give them to others.
The lesson concludes with this incredibly beautiful, powerful affirmation. It asks us to be profoundly grateful that we actually have the means to recognize we are free. And what exactly is that means? It is the act of sharing the message. The text promises that when we light up our minds with this truth, the heavy, fearful world just begins to recede. And as we prove that we share this united will, all those hidden gifts from our Creator will suddenly become crystal clear to us. We'll finally truly recognize the profound gifts we've been holding all along.
So, as you wrap up, I want to leave you with this final, provocative question to carry with you after this explainer ends. How will you deliver your message of unity today? The time for judging your own worth? That's over. The time for hiding behind false humility is completely done. You already have the message, and someone out there is desperately waiting for you to use your voice, your hands, and your feet to deliver it. It's time to step into your role. Thank you so much for exploring this absolutely incredible material with me today.